Great, great. So the topic we have on the slate today is, can you clear my record when all this DUI stuff is over? You have clients ever ask you that?
Yes, they always ask me that.
You
Um,
can speak to that.
well, I have to give a lawyer's answer, which is maybe. It depends. Um, when you're arrested for DUI, there can be a number of records. There's three separate records you actually have to be aware of. First of all, whenever you're arrested, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation records that arrest. So people can see that, oh, you were arrested for DUI. So that will show up there. Now, a second type of records you might end up with is through the Department of Motor Vehicle. And you get that for being convicted of DUI or DWAI. And also what shows up in there are what are called express consent revocations. If you end up losing your license based on having a BAC over .08 or refusing a test, those things also show up in your driving record. So that's a record that sticks with you. The third record you end up with is the courts. The courts keep their own separate records, and they will keep records of convictions and or not. So there are some circumstances where you can avoid a conviction. Let me briefly tell you what that might be. First of all, the only way to avoid a record at the Department of Motor Vehicle in regards to the express consent revocation and the suspension of your license is if you request the hearing within 7 days, they'll give you a notice of revocation. They're saying, we're taking this action against you, and you got to do something about it in 7 days. So you take that action, you get the hearing, and if you can win at the hearing, if you can somehow find a way to beat that, then that doesn't show up on your record, and that record can be cleared. If that ends up on your record, then there is no way you can change that later. There's no law. In fact, specifically, the laws regarding expungement and clearing of records don't allow you to change a Department of Motor Vehicle record. Those can't be altered. So it all comes down to that hearing, which all comes down to you requesting the hearing in the first place. So there's that as far as DMV. Now, through the court system, there are some means by which you could alter this court record. For example, there's a kind of a disposition called a deferred judgment. That's where you plead guilty, but you're not found guilty. It's kind of held there by the court in deferment. And as long as you do all the things on your end, they're going to make you do alcohol classes, community service, don't get in trouble. At the end of that, then your plea is withdrawn and the case is dismissed. So then that record, that court record, shows a dismissal, and you can seal that record. And then the arrest itself that you're arrested for, I've heard different things, but I believe you can seal that record and get a district court judge to give you an order saying that you can seal that record. So that's a way you can perhaps, if there's a middle ground, get into that situation. I have to note that it's very hard to get in that situation, and prosecutors are more likely with a case that maybe they can't win or maybe it's a lower BAC, they're more likely to offer a reckless driving, which ends up showing on your record. But if you can get a deferred judgment, it can be a pretty good deal, and it might help you to avoid a conviction. But if you end up pleading guilty to DUI without a deferment, you're going to have a record that will show up in court. That will also show up at the Department of Motor Vehicle, and the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, called CBI, will maintain a record of that arrest for that charge and the ultimate disposition of it, which will be a plea of guilty, perhaps to a lower charge like a DWAI, or a conviction for DUI. And that record will stick with you. And unfortunately, people oftentimes ask me, well, aren't these records cleared off after 7 years? And that's like one of those, I don't know, one of those urban myths. They wouldn't be records if they didn't go forever. These go forever. Nowadays, with computer systems, there's no way that these records get expunged once they get on there. The only exception to that I can imagine would be in a pardon by the governor, and that has not happened in my experience in the state of Colorado ever. So what I'm trying to tell you is that this can stick, it can leave a mark, and these are the 3 ways you can be marked by that with your record that you need to be aware of.
Wow, that was a very comprehensive answer. If I were facing a DUI, I'd make sure to call you to represent me, because I would want the best ball in my court when it comes to possibly getting records expunged or whatnot. But it sounds very serious. So what you said about the 7 days is, it seems to be a recurring theme here, is we need to request that administrative hearing.
Right.
So,
I think you need to get a lawyer. You need to act right away. You need to move now and protect your rights, or otherwise you could lose something important to you that was going to last a long time.
Thank you very much, Dave. And that's it for today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great day, David.
Thanks, man.